going on, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and I'm in the Pan Am Center, and I am larger than I mean to be right now. Let me, there we go. I'm in the Pan Am Center in Las Cruces, getting ready for tonight's UNM Lobo Aggie basketball game, and Sean Reider joins me, colleague Sean Reider, in Albuquerque in the press box, where he is going to kick off the start of this show by recapping what was a pretty big win for UNM Lobo football, even as 14.5-point favorites, which I thought was a little meaty of a number for a Lobo team that hasn't beat CSU in a while. They had a tough one today, right, Sean?
Had a tough one. I believe that's 4 lost fumbles. I think they had 5 total fumbles, but one of them was recovered by Jack Lane. But you know, this is a team that had not won when they turned the ball over at that rate, and they were able to fight through it. I thought the defense was absolutely amazing today in a lot of respects. Austin Brawley was sensational in his first game back. And the house is now open. The offense was kind of equally ineffective at points, man. It seemed like they really struggled to sustain drives. Obviously, the fumbles do not help whatsoever, but it just felt like they were always like a couple plays away from really doing something. I think they really only had, one truly in drive they had a couple, but I don't know. Monkey stuff from the offense, but pretty darn good stuff from the defense. I think Jason Eck was right when he said he considered this probably the best defensive performance they've had all year. Absolutely kept them in this game, and I mean, hard to not be kind of glass half full if you're a Lobo fan. I think with this one, now you clinched the winning record. You've won 4 straight for the first time since 2016, and you still have everything in front of you.
I saw some comments throughout the game. Saw Rick Wright. I certainly wouldn't say certainly not overly critical, but kind of pointing out that the defense wasn't entirely responding necessarily. Did the defense struggle early, or did I just catch a bad moment when I saw that particular comment on my drive down?
Which one are you talking about?
Rick had made a comment. Rick Wright had made a comment about the defense didn't exactly look like they had showed up. UNM's defense. How was their defense? Remember, I haven't seen a down in this game.
So it was like an 8-play, 50-something yard drive for Colorado State to start, and pretty much from there, I thought they were pretty darn good. I mean, really, the rest of the first half, I don't have the numbers in front of me, the half-to-half numbers, but I thought they were really effective. Did a nice job starting to get pressure on Jackson Brousseau. They switched to Darius Curry pretty much entirely at the halftime. So I thought they did a lot of nice stuff. Really from that kind of first drive on. And then towards the end, you could tell they kind of got a little bit gassed. That's more on the offense than anything else. But, I still held them to leave under 300 yards on the day, only 13 rushing yards. And they played largely within their base defense. That was kind of there was no big schematic wrinkle for this one. They just kind of lined up the way they normally do and let it rip.
It's getting loud in here. I don't know if, for those that don't know, here's where I'm sitting for this Aggie Lobo basketball game. That's where I'm sitting, but also this is the vantage point. It doesn't get much higher. There are 4 rows or about 10 rows of empty kind of seats behind me that you can see, and then the wall. So we're about as high up as you can get, and they do not sell seats really behind us. So the capacity. I think tonight they're going to get about 10,000. I was told they did open up general seating, like an additional 1,000 tickets today. That whether or not they sell, I don't know. But they're going to have 10,000 here. It'll be as sold out as it gets here kind of crowd. Since the building is bigger than they actually allow in nowadays, and it will not be elbow to elbow up into the corners up behind me and stuff like that. So I don't know if the official capacity, I think it is about 12,000. I don't know that it'll necessarily get there, but they are gonna. I think this is a sold out game. Technically, whatever that means anymore. I'm not putting asterisks by attendance numbers anymore. Just telling you, kind of passing along what I was told. So. See what else we got here. This Kentacohut.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Oh, help me out, Mike. What is that? Of the pre-post-game show?
Kohut.
I don't know.
Oh, it's like one of those KFC Taco Bells or like KFC Pizza Hut, like mishmashes.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. It's almost like it's all in the word right there. Let's go back to that word real quick and take a look at it.
Taco Hut, yeah. So KFC, Taco Bell, and then Pizza Hut. Wow, we really just cracked the code there. Best guys in the business, man.
Mike, you are you brought wisdom to the show today. Taco Hut. All right. So back to the serious stuff here. All right.
Yes.
The defense was excellent. A+ for sure. Overall, what would you grade the defense?
A+, yeah. I thought they were great, man. They don't win this game if the defense isn't as good as it is today. And I do think there is I got to look at some of the numbers from some other games, kind of think about it. But, yeah, again, I think Eck is right when he says, it's probably the best defensive performance they had all year. And it really came at a pivotal day, a pivotal game where, the offense did not have its best stuff for a lot of the game. They struggled to sustain drives.
Yeah, that is why I was a little confused when I glanced probably halfway through my drive, and certainly not while I was driving did I look at my phone. But
absolutely not, never.
I have to see one comment from Rick about the defense, just didn't look like it was awake yet or something like that. And it really must have been the one time that they didn't have their A game, because it seems like if you're giving up 4 turnovers and you're holding them to 17, you probably had a pretty good defensive game. John Romero's in on YouTube. Good crowd. All the people I was around in the stands were yelling, hold on to the ball in the second half. We caught some good breaks on the interceptions in the second half. Just glad we won. Yeah, that was one of the – yeah, right? I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's 2 interceptions in the second half. One pretty much right off the bat in the second half for Austin Brawley. And the other one was kind of a basically see ball, get ball. The ball was deflected, I think, by Brett Carhu. Came down and got it. We said I wish he would have cut across and scored, but I said he kind of ran out of gas towards the end of that one. And the other one was Caleb Coleman. It was another huge play when they kind of really needed one. So the interceptions were huge. And, yeah, the first 2 fumbles from Bankston, not great, but you felt like they were over, you could overcome those. The Humphrey one was really tough. Credit to Colorado State for forcing all these. I mean, pretty magnificent game. I got to look up the guy who forced them again. And then the Dorian Thomas one felt inexplicable. I mean, truly. I think UNM had 8 lost fumbles on the year heading into today, and you just had half of all that in one game and still won. So, yeah, interesting.
I am curious what the feel was going in to, I don't know, I guess going into the fourth quarter, but really as the game got wore down, when you have that many fans who are just so excited about what's going on this year, and was there a sense of, oh man, is it going to happen? Was this a defeated sort of, here we go again kind of feel for a program that hasn't been great? That's why this year is so special? Or was there sort of a confident vibe from that crowd today late in the game?
I think after the 4th fumble, there was a little bit of the here we go again kind of vibe and all that. I really think after the 3, the 3rd and the 4th fumbles, there was a bit of that that vibe from the crowd, because I think people just kind of couldn't believe it. No way they're coughing the ball up, putting the ball on the ground this many times. But I think with the Bankston ones before, you kind of had that confidence so you could overcome it. But UNM was, they were good to get the momentum back in a lot of respects. So. A lot of credit due there, and a lot of credit to the fans too. I think 27,526, I think, was the announced attendance today, which is the largest November crowd for UNM football games since 2008. So I wrote about it in the takes. It's my 3rd take. If you want to go read it, credit to the fans for showing up and showing out today.
I did put in my regular update mode that I'm in with attendance figures. They will, even if nobody shows up for November 28th against San Diego State, they will surpass the 20,000 average this year. Even if they get 0 fans for their 6th game, they will have averaged 20,000 fans this year, and that alone is something I would not have predicted. They were at 16,001 fan on average last year. That was a year without New Mexico State. So if you want to go to the year before that, they were at 15,988 or something like that. So they were actually lower the last time they had a New Mexico State game. I know some people said, oh, that wouldn't happen without New Mexico State. A, they're right, but B, the last time New Mexico State was there, it didn't actually do much of anything. That alone, the attendance alone, and it's hard to say alone because it's only because of the wins, but the attendance alone makes this year of Lobo football already a success. The bowl game makes it a success, obviously. The winning makes it a success. Just the fun that the fan base has had with it is a success. But you aren't going to see a turnaround like that attendance-wise nationwide really this year. There are usually maybe 2-3 schools every year that have the kind of attendance increase year over year that's in the 20s and 30s. I think the Lobos are still in the 40s right now, and I do think they'll end up in the 30 to 40 range in year over year attendance increase, and it's remarkable. Yeah, it starts from a bad place. That's how those increases happen. Michigan's never going to have a 40% increase year over year because they can't, because they're already where they want to be attendance wise. But the idea that that's some sort of slight on the Lobo program is sort of weird to me, because what do you want them to do? Not improve by 40%? Of course not. So they did what they're supposed to this year, and this is the year we're living in. So kudos to the fans for showing up. Now, well, I'm not going to yuck on your yum, Sean, or everybody else's. They've done an awful lot of they've put in a lot of effort to making tickets below what they have valued those seats at in the stadium. A lot of tickets have been given away. That stuff they cannot do long term and still make the revenue they want. But this year has been a dedication to getting eyes on the product, building a fan base, getting some young crowd in that maybe wouldn't otherwise have been in, and they've done all those things. Like, they've now built an appetite, right? You want to the first one's on us, and then hopefully you get hooked. Is sort of the seller's mentality, and that is what UNM is hoping for. And so next year, everybody that's taking advantage of all these free tickets and discounted tickets, remember, next year it might not be like that, but if X still around and this team's still exciting, that this is how fun it can be when you do have a good fan base showing up every Saturday and you do have a good product on the field.
Yeah, because we're talking attendance, I do just want to remind everybody watching, University Stadium is not under construction. I just want to clarify that it is not under construction. So, there we go.
Royce is in. He's saying the Lobos are taking the final Mountain West ship in football. Tonight will clear the path. It isn't the final one in Mountain West, but it is the final in this current allotment.
Yes.
Iteration. So, and I will not agree with you, but I mean they haven't eliminated themselves, and that alone is remarkable. 2 games to go in the season. We're in mid-November, and the Lobos are still in the running for a Mountain West championship in football. What's going on here, man?
They're in second place on the standings right now, I'm pretty sure.
Are they? Yeah, I'll pull it up real quick. Move the chain, Jack Lane. Isn't that right? Move the chain, Jack Lane.
He moved the chains, and he had a very Devin Dampier-esque touchdown today, which was very funny to see. Could not have two more different quarterbacks, but got that, pulled that one out, and it was good for the go ahead, the game-winning touchdown essentially. Well, no. Field goal after, so my bad.
Field goal after. So I'm looking at some standings right now, and if you look at Mountain West records, San Diego State and Boise State are both at 4-1 right now as we speak. Hawaii and New Mexico are both at 4-2. So technically that'd be tied for 3rd/4th.
Yeah, you're right. Excuse me.
But yeah, I mean they're 1 game in the bag already on those 2 teams above them, and if I'm not mistaken, they play tonight, so they will end tonight in 2nd place. There will be 1 team that'll be at 5-1, and one of those 2 other teams is going to be. There's going to be 3 teams at 4-2. Well, I guess Hawaii could lose. I'm sorry, Hawaii hasn't played yet, have they?
I don't know what's going on the island. I don't think they have. They do not play. They are idle.
So, UNM is going to end tonight and wake up tomorrow in 2nd place in the Mountain West in football, with either Hawaii and Boise State or Hawaii and San Diego State. Do you have a pick on that one, by the way?
I'll go San Diego State. I don't know what the spread is, but I'll go San Diego State.
Well, if I had to guess, if I was a guessing man, I would say that San Diego State's favored by 1.5. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much a pick 'em. I mean, if the home team's favored by less than a field goal, it's about as pick 'em as you can get. So there you go. Let's get to another question here. Mike is in.
Combination again.
All right. Why did the Pan Am not sell tickets for all their seats? So I don't know, man. I don't even know what to tell you on that. A long time ago, they had changed some seating. These aren't actual regular seats up here where I am. These are, they're chair backs. You can kind of lean back in them. So I guess they're seats. But I don't know what the answer is to that for basketball games. In concerts, they do. I will remind that for those that don't know, the athletic department does not own the Pan Am Center here, does not run it like at New Mexico. The athletic department runs the pit. Here it is a special events facility that that technically NMSU athletics rents, and this is a facility that even though it's attached to the practice facility and the basketball offices right there and across the street from the football stadium, this is owned by Special Events. So I don't really know the answer, and to get an answer, I can't just go ask the AD like I've known the AD closely for years. I don't know the new AD, by the way. Joe is a guy I've not yet met, so hopefully tonight I'll meet him. Have not seen him yet. All right, what do we got here? Let me actually add real quick, since I talked to Joe via email yesterday, and I talked to Fern via text yesterday, and then did not write the story like I should have yesterday, and it'll be something I put in some coverage today for this game. Both Fern and Joe, the athletic directors at UNM and NMSU, are both, without committing, certainly open to making this a 2-game series again next year moving forward, and both of them used in their answers revenue. And fan interest, of course. Fans want this to be twice a year, and revenue kind of dictates that both basketball teams should play this twice a year. Coaches for years have not wanted this to be twice a year. I don't think the coaches have a vote in it anymore. I think they're going to go back to making this twice a year, so UNM gets one really good home game a year, with NMSU traveling to Albuquerque, and NMSU is guaranteed one good home game a year with Albuquerque and UNM traveling to Las Cruces. If you look at NMSU's home schedule this year for non-conference, it's remarkably bad, and it is, Jason Hooten talked about it. Nobody will come here. When you don't have money to buy opponents, you get a home schedule that is NMSU hosting UNM for free because it's part of a 2-year home and home series. NMSU hosting Samford, a Division I Samford, SAMFORD, because Samford is part of the Cancun Classic. So NMSU gets to host one of those teams, and it is Samford. That is November 21st. And 3 non-D1s. They're hosting Adams State. They've already hosted them. New Mexico Highlands, Division II New Mexico Highlands. They hosted on Tuesday. And then in December, they host the College of the Southwest out of Hobbs. Not even Hobbs Junior College. The College of the, or University of the Southwest out of Hobbs. That is New Mexico State's home non-conference schedule. They're not spending a penny. Well, I shouldn't say that. For the D2 schools, it's usually about $5,000. But a buy game in Division I basketball now going rates between $75,000 and $100,000 to pay a team to come travel and play in your arena. That is what UNM paid East Texas A&M, UT Arlington, and UC Riverside, all in the $85,000 to $100,000 range. And that's what it costs to buy an opponent right now. And NMSU does not have any buy money in their account, essentially. So they're going on the road the rest of the time. And their home schedule only has 2 Division I opponents. So I know a lot of Lobo fans are really griping and moaning about about UNM's home schedule this year for basketball. Down the road in Las Cruces,
it'd be a lot worse.
It'd be a lot worse. So, all right. Rodriguez family saying the offense seemed vanilla today, like the Lobos were playing not to lose. Did not having a serviceable backup factor into that? Not wanting to let Lane get hurt. What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I don't think that affected any of that, frankly. I don't think that affected that. I didn't think it was that vanilla. I mean, they took downfield shots. I mean, I wouldn't say it was overly creative in the run game. But I didn't think this was a defense you had to do that, right? That you just kind of had to manage pressure pretty well. And Colorado State didn't pressure as much as we kind of thought they would. Frankly, I could talk a little bit about that, and I'll put that in the story later. But I didn't think it was crazy vanilla. I didn't think it was awesome by any stretch. And I think really maybe the reason why it felt kind of vanilla was just some of the fact that the execution just wasn't awesome. I mean, and I talked about that, and I can put more of that in a story that'll be out later tonight. But I don't know. I think it was far more of an execution thing than kind of.
All right. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much that's coming through on your end, but man, they got
it's really coming through. It is coming through.
And again, maybe it's because I'm sitting right under the speakers up here. I'm sure if I was sitting, courtside where the broadcast crews are, and not under speakers, you might be able to hear me better. But this is where they got us for. This is where they have us for. Media Row is up here at the Pan Am Center. As you can see, we got some people coming in right there. But it's good. They don't want us to take the good seats in front of us. A little crooked now.
I love Grammer Vision. Grammer Vision is, I love it.
You paid the big bucks for this, Sean. Poor Jeff in the nosebleed seats. I'm an Aggie alum, just like Geoff Grammer, class of '84. I've honestly been to 90 games, 90 plus games, probably, or about 90 games in Pan Am. Be safe and enjoy. I will be safe. I will try and be safe up here. I will say, from an injury standpoint, I do know that Dayton Albury and Uriah Tenet both warmed up and went through shoot around earlier today. I see Dayton Albury warming up down there. And I don't know. From up here, it's hard to see for sure with these eyes up in the nosebleeds if Dayton Albury's down there yet.
Football injuries. I asked about James Lobstein, and X said they're hoping to get him back by next week. It's a leg thing, as I think a lot of you guys knew. And then Gabe Lopez. Sounds like he has a head injury. They're hoping to get him back soon as well.
Matt's in on X. I would have run a bootleg on that third down toward the end of the game instead of 2 straight run plays. A win is a win, though. So I saw, that's all I saw, by the way, was the Colorado State's last, desperation drive with 18 seconds left, and the last play that New Mexico went for it on fourth down, which is fine. I would have done, I probably would have gone for it too, because the field goal didn't secure the game.
Exactly.
I liked it. I liked the running around. What I would have liked is even just 2 more ticks off the clock when Jack was about to go down. If he just would have gunned it as high as he could and as deep as he could out of the end zone, you get 2 more ticks. And when you're talking under 20 seconds, every tick counts, right? And that's the only criticism I would have had is just make sure, like, right before you get tackled, just throw that out of bounds and get another couple seconds off. But I thought that was fine. I didn't have a problem with that play necessarily. Now, the plays leading up to that, like that Matt's talking about, I don't know what they ran there. So what do you think? Would a bootleg have been better?
I think bootleg probably would have been fine, but everything you just laid out is exactly what X said in terms of why they didn't take the field goal there, which I also agree with. And then, Jack just needing to hold on to it for literally a couple seconds longer. And just get rid of it there. He said that exact same thing.
Football coach, really, in a lot of ways. I kind of got the brain of a college football coach, and what can I say? Turnovers. Defense saved the day. Steve Sinclair just wrote your story for you.
Yep.
Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Call it a day. You can call it a day. Steve wrote that for you. All right, Jeff, is Uriah playing tonight? I don't know yet. I haven't been told he's not. Usually I get kind of about now. What are we, almost an hour? I kind of get a text usually about now letting me know, but I don't know the answer just yet. I can tell you I don't see – I can see all the guys that are wearing black kind of street clothes like the managers and the warm-ups he wore the other night when he didn't suit up, and I don't see him there. I only see Samarius Jones. So my eyes just might be that bad that I just don't see him down there. But otherwise, I would say he's either in the back still getting treatment and with the intent of maybe warming up and playing, or he's just not down there. I don't know. They look tight. Did they look tight tonight, Steve? Or today? Sean, did they look tight today, Sean?
I didn't think they looked insanely tight, but I think they were a little bit. It just felt like they're always just a play away, man. And some of they had some penalty issues as well, and then obviously just the turnovers, man. Turnovers. You just can't.
It says Steve added. It reminded me of a Rocky team. Defense really stepped up. As you're talking, I'm gonna start turning this mic off a little bit every now and then. In case that sounds weird, but.
Fredo Moreno, who is a former Lobo comms guy from back in the day, actually made kind of this exact same point on Twitter. He said it reminded him of back in the day where the defense would play lights out under Rocky and the offense would just struggle to get much of anything going. And I think that's a pretty it really struggled to sustain anything worthwhile. So I do think that's a pretty fair read. I wasn't around for the Rocky Long era. I wasn't really paying attention at the time. The end of the Rocky Long era, I was just 8 years old. Now I'm like 16, so yeah.
Thanks for making the 16-year-old joke for me.
My mom, fun game to watch. She was off on my Lobos by 12, but not too far. Still looking. The Northwestern loss at Wrigley Wounds. Spaghetti for dinner. Yes. Saturday spaghetti. I love it. Yeah, that's tough for Northwestern, man. That's really tough. I saw David Braun kind of throw the gauntlet down after. So.
Well, I do love the fact that your mom from Michigan has adopted the Lobos as one of her, I guess, 3 teams? How many Susie Reider have?
It's been a lot of different teams because for those that don't know, my sister worked in college football, so we were all Wofford fans for a bit. We were all Northwestern fans for a bit. We were all Western Kentucky fans for a bit. Valparaiso fans always. So we've gotten pretty good. My mom in particular, my dad as well, have gotten good at picking up a bunch of teams and really getting into it. So yeah, my mom is on the Lobos bandwagon.
Spaghetti sounds good. All right, check this out. And 55-10 is the final.
Yeah, crazy.
Unbelievable. While Nevada was a team that I would have guessed somewhere was going to pick off somebody and get a win, I would never guess
that. Not by 45 points. Not by 45 points.
Yeah, it wasn't going to – I didn't think it was like a floodgate opening kind of moment that they were going to end up having. So there we go. Why don't you talk a little bit about that while I check in with Steve Kirkland here.
Yes, it is. It's tough for me to talk about a game that I did not see a single solitary second of. So right now, while Grammer is talking, I do just want to shout out my North Texas Mean Green. A really big win over UAB today. I think they're 9-1 overall. American picture is really shaping out for them with South Florida taking a loss. So East Carolina took care of business against Memphis. So it is tough for me to give much of a read into a game I did not see. I'll see if I can get the box score up over here and see what that looks like. Yeah, it was 31-0 Nevada at halftime. That's crazy. That's the worst offense in the league. Stepping up there. Colorado State was the second worst offense in the league. I thought they actually did some kind of all right things today. I talked a little bit about it after, right? You know, they were pretty worried about Rocky Beers and making sure that he didn't kind of hurt them in a lot of respects. And I think he did hurt them at points. I thought they did an okay job. That one hit Brawley put on Beers was insane. I mean, that was a crazy hit. I'm just really rambling right now while Grammer does this. And he is back.
And I'm back. You're right, Annette is suiting up tonight, by the way. I didn't see him, but I see him now. Do-do-do. Yeah, the only two that are not suiting up are the usual suspects. Samarius Jones, who is redshirting. Kalai Patton, who is, I don't know what the official word is, but he's been hurt / redshirting / hasn't played yet, but that isn't a surprise. So you're right, Annette suiting up and playing tonight. Dayton Albury suiting up and playing tonight. And both of them were held out Tuesday against UC Riverside. So good news on that front for the Lobos, while Luke Hopt and Chris Howell both stepped up admirably in their absence. I do think they'll need their athleticism tonight with Jamel Jones, averaging over 20 points a game for the Aggies, albeit against 2 Division II opponents so far. But he was a second-team All-Big West player last year, averaged 18 points a game at Cal Bakersfield, and a preseason Conference USA player, or All-Conference USA player this year. So they need him. All hands on deck.
Fumble.
There's your next story. There's your follow-up. Offense struggled big time. Lobstein not playing hurt us. I almost said Lobstein. It is Lobstein. Just another option that wasn't taken, or that was taken away. You sort of addressed this, but let me ask you this. Lobstein not playing, so they took out the package for him, but that doesn't mean they didn't use the backup, right? Or did anybody play other than to move the chain?
Toa Fabe had one snap, and we had seen it in practice a little bit this week. Basically the Lobstein package, but with Toa Fabe, the true freshman out of De La Salle in Concord, California. So we had seen a little bit of that in practice this week. I was expecting it more. I figured they would have probably tried to get to like 4 or 5 plays in the sheet, but it just didn't go great on that first play. So it's pretty clear they made the decision to move away from that. And I do think you're right, though. I don't think it was kind of like, I don't think, all due respect to Lobstein, I don't think Lobstein is like holding this offense together all by himself. But I do think the fact that he just didn't have that option, kind of manufacture yards at certain points, it didn't help them at all.
The one play, just for those that don't know, because it is different in some sports, you put a true freshman in, and he plays one play. What does that do to his red shirt, Sean?
He maintains his red shirt. What?
Say that again.
Yeah, he keeps his red shirt.
Yeah. Well, for football, like him getting in the game doesn't matter. If this were, as I've talked to women's soccer coach Heather Dyke, does not like this rule.
Former, yes,
because Carly Nelson is now the head coach, who I will be doing a kind of relaunch of What's Up in 505 with Carly early this coming week. And congratulations to Carly, by the way, for getting that soccer job. How awesome is it? Don't know her well, but I know Heather Dyke well enough to know that anybody she kind of vouches for, anybody that's in her circle, is a person that I'm happy got the opportunity that Carly's getting. So happy for her. Because I admire Heather so much and what they've done, not just for the program, but sort of the way they carry themselves and what they do. So I say all that to make this point. Heather Dyke hates the fact that in college soccer, women's college soccer, you play 1 minute of one game and you lose your red shirt. And they actually start their season in August before classes even start. So a freshman might not have even started their first class of college yet, and yet already ate up an entire season of eligibility if they got in one early preseason game. Football lets you play 4 games. Actually, it could be 5 with the bowl, right? It could be 4 and then a bowl.
Yes, it's 5. The bowl game does not count.
You could play 5 60-minute football games and still redshirt and save that year of eligibility in football. And then in basketball, it comes down to injury and what part of the year you were still playing up till, all that kind of stuff. Why in the world there are different rules for redshirting in the NCAA, I have no idea. Come on, NCAA. Let me
it's
do
almost like they're different sports structured differently with different rules and different procedures.
Hot take alert. Come on, NCAA. That's it.
I just love, right? Huge win for UNM football. Got it, by the skin of their teeth. Big basketball game. But we got a college soccer rant wedged in between. I love that. This is why you tune in.
Yeah, this is why I flew into the Pan Am. All right, should not be twice a year in my opinion for basketball. I hate to break it to you. I think it is headed that way because of finances. Both teams need a good home gate without paying for another team to come to their place. Jeffrey Holland is in. Football, beginning of the season, I predicted 5 wins. At 3 wins, I called 7. At 7 wins, F it. We're going to win one more for 8 wins in football. Yeah, I've been kind of cautiously recalibrating throughout the year. I stuck with 5 until they got to 6. And then when they got to 6, I was like, you know what? I think they'll get to 7. So I'm now where I kind of recalibrated to. And look, Air Force, San Diego State, and a bowl game. Do I think they'll go 0 for 3? No. So I guess I'll say they'll get to 8. I'll lean 8 before I go. If I'm with 3 games left and they're at 7 wins, the options are 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? Ooh, check me out, because that's 0 wins, 1 win, 2 wins, or 3. If they're at 7 wins now, I would say in order, my priority or my picks are they will go to 8 wins, then 9, then 7, then 10. I don't think they're going to win out. So I think 10 is the least likely. I think after that is not win another one, but then I think 7 or either 8 or 9 wins is where they're going to finish in. So of those 4 options, what's your take? Basically, we're saying they have 4 games left. Basically, we're saying they have 3 games left. Are they going to finish with 7, 8, 9, or 10 wins? Jesus, I'm making this complicated.
Jesus Christ. I'll go in my likelihood 9, 8, 7, 10. 9, 8, 7, 10.
Yeah, 10's got to be the last one, right? Because San Diego State and whoever their bowl opponent is, that's going to be tough, obviously.
I think this is a team that's going to – I think they're going to beat either Air Force or San Diego State. I still think Air Force is tricky, and I think this is a team that's going to get up for that bowl game, whoever they play, and really be into it. So I'll go, 9, 8, 7, 10.
And they don't play on the island again this year, so that's good. For those wondering, we got a UNLV Utah State update in the second quarter. Utah State 13, UNLV 3. So Utah State is taking.
Broncos boys are cooking. Bronco.
So how many wins are Broncos boys at? They're at 5 wins. Ooh.
Broncos boys could be locking up a bowl bid tonight.
This is what like a year ago when they were going to the island and couldn't quite get to 6, but they can get to 6 tonight.
I think that game is in Vegas. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, kind of like an island. I'm going to the Santa Clara. All right. I'll tell you what, Santa Clara is rough, man. They're a good team. They're playing Nevada tonight as a 6.5-point favorite. I don't know. I forget start times for basketball tonight for the Mountain West. I'm pulling it up as we go here. Were some games that completed earlier. Miami of Ohio won at Air Force. Air Force is 0-4. 3 of their losses have been at home on the Academy at Clune Arena. Utah State beat UTEP in Logan, 75-51. Nice little 24-point win after a disappointing, although they won against Weber State the other night. They did not look great doing so. And then Boise State just eked one out against Montana State at home, but they did win 62-58 against Montana State as 16.5-point favorites. There are no other, there is. Nevada and Santa Clara are at halftime. Santa Clara 48, Nevada 34. That is a 14-point Santa Clara lead at halftime against Steve Alford's Nevada Wolfpack right now. That Santa Clara game in the pit's going to be a rough one for the Lobos. That's a good Santa Clara team. Jeffrey Holland's in also. Wasn't UNM supposed to be signing some players this week? Are you talking basketball or football?
Because if we're talking football, it's all going to be. They hosted a lot of guys this week, and they're going to concentrate on like that December 3rd signing date and all that as well. So they had a lot of guys out here. But yeah.
And basketball did not sign anybody this week, but they are further along with some guys. I'm kind of being told, and I thought they were because I thought they were sort of delaying everything with recruiting until portal and a little bit later in the year. I didn't think they had anything in the works for an early signing period signing this year, but they might. They might have something coming up. Steve Singletary is back in, anxious to see how the Lobos handle the Aggie pressure. That's what I'm saying. So Jason Hooten's teams are in your face. They have pressure. That is the one thing I have, and I'm not saying the Lobos can't handle it. I'm saying I haven't seen enough to know if they can handle it. So I think Jason Hooten's style doesn't bode well for the Lobos. I think Jason Hooten and NMSU's schedule so far bodes great for the Lobos, in that they've played Adams State and they played New Mexico Highlands, and this is the second Saturday of the season, and they're playing their first Division I game, whereas the Lobos are on game number 6 against division opponents. If you count 2 exhibition games and 3 regular season games, you can say what you want about the level of competition. The 200 and 300 level kind of KenPom teams, like the Lobos have played D1 opponents, got tested by them. Got tested on Tuesday by one of them anyway. And they've kind of worked out whatever they need to work out against better competition than have the Aggies. So 2 things that'll be interesting tonight. Jamel Jones and whether or not the Lobos can handle an athletic guard the way they didn't handle one for the first 24 minutes on Tuesday night against UC Riverside when Adam Henderson for UC Riverside went for 27 points, and his 27th point came with 16:55 left. 16:55 left in the game was the last time he scored. That was when Luke Hopt and Chris Howell started defending him a lot more. So Jamel Jones is a better player than Henderson was for UC Riverside, and the Lobos better figure out what to do with him. Otherwise, he alone will keep the Aggies in the game. I think the physical brand that Jason Hooten's team brings is also going to be an issue for the Lobos. But the Lobos are a more skilled team and a little more polished at this point because they have played 5 Division I games already. Matt's back in. Your voice is still front and center, Jeff. Thank you.
Matt, were you at the game? Did you go? Matt, let us know if you went to the game today.
Yeah, Matt. If Matt went to the game, let us know, Matt, because you're making bootleg comments like you were there. That sounded like I was calling him out. You're making bootleg comments. You sure ran a boot. I didn't mean it like that. I'm saying it sounded like you were there. But anyway, Lobo football was fun. Lots of bad plays. Going for it on 4th down sometimes isn't a good idea. Man, that's a live and die by the 3 kind of thing, right? For using a basketball analogy like Jason Eck likes to do. That's a live by the 3, die by the 3 kind of thing, because with Jason Eck, you live by the 4th down, go for it or die by it, because it's great when it works and it does suck when it doesn't, and you're just going to have to live with it because he's going to keep doing it.
Exactly. It's not going to change. Maybe over time, gradually, some of the situations which they are more aggressive, maybe change a little bit. But no, they want to stay aggressive, and I think in this game I was okay. I was okay definitely with the 4th down attempts. So yeah. Oh, we got to get close.
All right, yeah, we just might have a new tradition at home football games. The 4 or 5 shirtless kids at the top seed of the east side, seating grew by several hundred by the end of the game. That is a tradition kind of going on around college football this year. It is, I guess, college football's version of the far more viral 6-7. It is shirtless guys in the top of the end zone or in the top of the stands waving their shirts. And I never would have guessed that University Stadium would not just be home to trying it, but actually successfully pulling it off. They had a group large enough that they respectfully pulled off a college football kind of trending thing. And again, that's a testament to a improved fan base for a year, right?
We did talk about this more than you would think in the post-game press conference. I'm not gonna lie. I think Indiana a couple years ago was kind of the first team that went like viral for it. And it was before Indiana was like amazing and like one of the best teams in the country. But Eck made a point that I'm very happy he made, because I kind of made that comment in the game. I feel like that's like reserved for like miserable teams like Oklahoma State, right? Who like went viral for that earlier in the year. You know, everybody taking their shirt off and, you know, the group's growing and they're, you know, doing all that. And Eck kind of said, he's like, yeah, I looked up and he's like, usually they do that for like bad teams and all that. And he's like, we really got to like figure it out today and make sure we get out of a win here. He's like, because it's fun to see, but I don't love seeing it right now. But I think it's spread to the point where, you know, everybody wants to hop in on the fun. Eck did say, though, when he was asked the question, if he would, because the group was urging Eck to take his shirt off as well. He said if they beat San Diego State, I'm assuming if they beat Air Force as well, they beat San Diego State and get a good crowd, he will take his shirt off. So that is breaking news there.
So he's trying to get a good crowd and threatening a shirt removal.
Yes.
Interesting take. He is an old line coach, but he's also the most popular man in New Mexico right now, it seems like. So maybe we're all here for it. Signing dates in early December for football. Is that right? Early December? Mid?
3rd, I believe.
3rd?
Yeah.
How stressed are the defensive staff for Air Force? They run the option offense, no?
I don't know if they are super stressed out. They were conscious about it in the spring and all that. They mixed in, I think, a day or two, and I think they did it in fall camp a little bit, just working on the option. So this wouldn't be like the first time they're ever exposed to some concepts while you are defending the option. So it's always a challenge. I mean, we're going to talk to them about it on Tuesday. We haven't talked to I didn't ask any Air Force questions today, but no, we'll get a lot of content on that. But I think there is some element where they are going to be stressed. I don't know if they're like banging their head against the wall and all that as well. But yeah.
I would be very afraid to be a rabbit crossing I-25 South right now. Well played. There are a lot of speeding cars heading from Albuquerque to Las Cruces right now. I do know some speeding cars left at halftime, not because the game wasn't interesting. There were some people that were supposed to be here by now, so they had to be here and still try to catch at least the first half of the game, and did so. Desert Lobo 72 is in on YouTube. What was X so upset about at the beginning of that last offensive possession?
I don't know. At that point, I was kind of really trying to write that story and just get it in on time, so I wasn't quite paying attention to the sideline. He did give a ref an earful earlier in the game, though, on a should have been a DPI on Keegan Johnson's sideline. I think it was 3rd quarter, I want to say, like late 3rd quarter. But he absolutely ripped a ref for a good minute, and the ref was like down the sideline, and he was still yelling at him a little bit. So, yeah, I think there was a couple calls that a couple could have been calls didn't quite go the Lobos' way today. So,
was he mad about the shirts? I think he was mad about the shirts. Come on, guys, we're winning here. We're the team. All right, Professor Benavides is in. Lobo D really only gave up 7 points. 10 of CSU's 17 points came off Lobo turnovers, deep in Lobo territory. Look, I mean, that is how it works sometimes, but were they deep enough that you really aren't going to hang these at all in the defense? Because I don't know where they were. Where were the turnovers?
I agree with John. I agree with John here.
Because if they're like midfield turnovers,
yeah, if they're midfield, you're not going to say like the points off turnovers deal there. But no, I agree with John.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Let's go.
Texas.
Ball knower. How about North Texas? Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that.
Obviously not talking about basketball, where they lost to St. Mary's by about 40 last night.
No, we don't talk about North Texas basketball, but it's football season still in Denton.
Don't worry, they turned it up a little bit. It's getting a little quiet in here, so they turned it up as more people came in. I'm old, man. All right. Also, look, I'm the greatest NMSU hater of all time, but you don't have to be a hater to absolutely wonder why Pan Am has those outrageous seats behind Geoff. Literally the worst seats of all time. While I do appreciate you saying behind Geoff, just to be clear, they're also under Geoff right now, and I am sitting on one of those seats, and they aren't that comfortable either. Jackson Eck in the running for Conference Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
What do you think? As he I mean, now that the team's in the running, like you kind of start looking at top defensive player, top offensive player. Do they belong in the running for Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year? Because those are awards that tend to, not always, but still tend to go to the teams in the running.
Yeah, no, I agree. What? What'd you say?
No, I'm letting you go with the Jackson Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, I thought you said – yeah, no, I think he's worthy of some votes at this point. I would have to look at some other cases to kind of stack it up, but it was something I was thinking about earlier this week because I was thinking about some of my all-conference voting as we get to the end of the season. So, yeah, no, I think he is in the running. It is – it's great to have Brawley back. Yeah, Brawley was absolutely awesome today. I mean, absolutely fantastic. He was good in the post-game interview as well. We talked to him earlier in the week, and he said he kind of felt like a caged animal, ready to get set loose and all that, and he absolutely was that. I asked Deck, I was like, do you kind of expect Brawley to play as well as he did in his first game back from injury? And he was like, no, not really. So no, he was awesome, and he truly kind of elevated the defense today in a lot of respects. The turnovers were big, but he had I think a TFL on a 3rd and 2 pretty early that forced a CSU punt, and then he was in on the 4th and 2 attempt from CSU in UNM territory. I think it was him and Jackson Eck that made that TFL there and got the turnover on down. So a couple huge moments in the game, and he absolutely spotted them.
Jeffrey Holland saying, I think it's a toss-up tonight in Las Cruces. He's not saying in Las Cruces. I added that. UNM offense hasn't really showed up yet. Yeah, I mean, statistically, their UC Riverside game on offense was okay, but you probably didn't notice because their defense was so bad for the 30 minutes for the first time. But, yeah, they scored a point. If you're getting to 1.1 points per possession, that's sort of the sweet spot that you should be able to live with. 1.2 is going to be a good game. 1.1 is a decent game offensively. If you're at least at 1 point, though, like maybe that's average. So they were above average on offense on Tuesday against UC Riverside. Just you couldn't tell because for so long that guy just kept making shots that didn't matter that the Lobos offense actually looked fairly good in that second half. John Romero's in like the Synergy Lobo football post-game show, Lobo Aggie basketball pregame show. Only thing missing is election coverage.
Yeah, let's get a runoff preview in here.
I will be in Richmond, Virginia the night of the runoff in Albuquerque, and that does not mean I won't be a part of runoff election night coverage by the Albuquerque Journal. That's correct. They are patching me in from Richmond, Virginia. Very good news about our guards cleared to play. I would agree with that. I would agree. They need it. Travis, now Sean, were there recruits at the game today?
There were indeed. There was I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but this was, we kind of talked about on previous shows, this was kind of the last big recruiting weekend they wanted to have. Just with the San Diego State game, the fact that it's the day after Thanksgiving, they didn't want to have recruits fly out that day, or really on Maine, I should say, for official visits and all that. So they had a lot of guys out here today. They made the push. So I know there should be some stuff to come from that in the coming weeks and all that as well. But today was really the last big recruiting season.
BT on YouTube is saying, asking starters, were there starters missing today? Because he said CSU looked like they had more energy.
Not really on offense. And then defensively, they were down Abraham Williams, but they have been down Abe in the UNLV game as well. And defensively they played pretty well. They were down Gabe Lopez, but as well on defense, but I didn't feel like that made a huge difference, honestly, given how the game kind of played out. And then obviously, they were down Lobstein. They didn't have him. And we kind of talked about it earlier in the show, though. I think not having that option kind of put them a little bit, not in a bind, but it did kind of hurt them since you didn't have him who could just come in and run tough and manufacture yards. So I think a little bit of effect there. But I credit to CSU, truly, and Eck said a lot of this as well. This is a team that is not really playing for a whole lot for the players at this point. They're kind of playing to, at least some are kind of playing for pride and to up their transfer portal stock, frankly. And coaches are trying to coach really probably for their next job, unless they are retained. But I don't see that happening. We'll see who they hire. But I thought they gave a really good effort today, and they absolutely came out to play. So I don't think it was horrible energy from UNM. I think it was just kind of execution.
Good job, good effort. All right, at 6:19, we are going to start winding things up so Sean can get back to work on football. And I have got to kind of get ready and talk to some people before this game for basketball. So we're going to not necessarily elaborate much on these comments, but rapid fire the rest of your guys' comments on the show and then wrap up for our pregame here in the next 10 minutes and get out of here by 6:30. Greg Lujan is in. I don't have a voice after this game. Not a good offensive game for the Lobos for the first 45 minutes. Is that about right? About 45 minutes of offensive struggle?
Well, they had a drive in the first half to get on the board that I think was like an 12-play, 75-yard drive that I think was pretty all right. And I was kind of expecting that to be a little bit of the turning point. But, not a great overall offensive day. I think that's fair.
All right, we just covered this one for PDog 006 on YouTube. Yeah, lots of recruits there today. Craig Johnson. Does football control its destiny if they win out?
No, they still need other teams to lose. They need Hawaii to lose. They need Hawaii to lose. They can take some Boise State losses as well. Tonight's Boise State-San Diego State game is kind of a big one to determine what the picture is going to look like. So we will see what happens there. I will be detailing some of this more in a notebook that will be out tomorrow.
Okay, so for a Mountain West championship game appearance, the Lobos would prefer what tonight?
I think
it just really sets up what comes next, right? I don't know if there is a.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really. It's more of like you kind of see this game to figure out, like, all right, who's going to have 2 losses at that point and what things going to look like. So I don't think there's a preference for either team. For either team to win for UNM at this point.
If Boise State loses this game and finishes the season at 2 losses, you've got a bunch of 2-loss tiebreakers. If San Diego State loses and comes into New Mexico with 2 losses, there's a chance that they drop to 3 and get out of the race if New Mexico wins. So wouldn't you rather kind of lean San Diego State lose tonight? Because then there's a path for them to get to 3 losses with the New Mexico win.
I'm going to be honest with you, Grammer. I am terrible at this without all the stuff in front of me, so I don't. No.
Hey, I'm making it up as I go. I'm going to
be honest with you. Like, I'm terrible at this. No.
Greg Lujan is in. Defense played good game. However, that was kind of followed. His offense looked rough for 45 minutes. All right, Steve is back in on YouTube. Do we know what experience the DC has playing against the triple option so far? That's a good question. Air Force scares me. I don't know I don't know how often they've run. They certainly haven't played much against an Air Force triple option. There are teams that might run the option, but Air Force runs it to an elite level.
It will probably be my first question on Tuesday. I was kind of thinking ahead a little bit to what we're going to want at that press conference as well. And because that's the question I had as well. I don't know what Spence Nowinski's experience is against the option. Every coach at this level has kind of seen the option at some point. But I don't know Spence's level of expertise with that. I am planning on talking to Spence about Air Force next week as well. So, and I don't know what X experience against the Air Force, against the option looks like either.
He's an old ball coach. 7-3 need to refocus against the Flyboys.
Yeah, this is a huge game, man, and I still think Air Force, man. They lost to UConn today, a pretty good UConn team, and I still think they should be considered a little scary, man.
All right, hey dudes, thanks for the shout out the other day. I missed it. I was out of the country, bummer. Defector Droid. Bronco will be 500 after tonight. Timothy Fuller's in. Is JT like Sebastian Forsling? I'd say JT is probably a little more polished and certainly a more skilled player on the outside than Sebastian was. Sebastian, I think, proved himself a little more down low, being able to be physical. Now, I think JT at 7'2" can do things that Sebastian probably couldn't do in terms of just kind of shot blocking, but he's slower than Sebastian was as he's slower in the post. His back to the basket game, he's still thinking so much that he just looks slow, but he's far more skilled out on the perimeter and can pass a lot better. So while they're both 7-footers and 7-foot blonde guys, a little slow in the post, I would tell you that their games are a little bit different because I think JT's best is away from the basket despite being 7 foot tall. 7'2" actually. I resent Craig Johnson for not calling recently. All right. Geoff taking the under-over tonight at 146. I would go under. Whatever the over-under for this game is, I would go under. I can see this being a slow, ugly, nasty, ugly game. A lot of missed shots. A couple teams shooting in the 30% range. The Pan Am is sold out tonight. Surprising. It is. And we are about 30 minutes from tip-off. And a little Grammer vision action for you. 30 minutes from tip-off is what we're looking at so far. Not filling in the seats up here with me yet. Of course, they have it sectioned off. This is VIP seating, really, when I'm here. Steve's back in on YouTube. All right, Steve is saying, so far, when they're trapped, they don't move enough without the ball. Yeah, this offense is based on spacing and all that kind of stuff. I'd say that there are some issues right now where, yeah, look, you're right. I don't think they move enough without the ball, but I think a lot of that's been predicated on the fact that Dayton Albury hasn't really got going yet. There's a lot that is that gets rolling in this offense, knowing that Dayton Albury is fast enough to get in the lane and get 2 feet in the paint whenever he wants. And when that happens, then some actions start happening on the perimeter, right? He penetrates, the rest of the offense gets going. And with the struggle there's been some confusion, but you're not wrong at all. Timothy Fuller's in. Geoff, who is the Lobos press beater. Dayton Albury, Uriah Tenet are the two of them. And certainly a by committee approach. They got a lot of decent ball handlers, but only two that I would say are fast one-man break the press kind of guys. And that's Uriah Tenet and Dayton Albury. Richie's in. Eck ripping his shirt off while Sean for the next right next to him, shirt on. What do you think, Sean?
Let's make it happen. I think it would be a blueberry in this scenario for the bowl game and all that. So I think win out. I'll do a grape too if they win out.
All right, here we go. Now we're in a post-game show for a Lobo game, and refs were pretty bad this game. What do you think, Sean? How were the refs? Let's give them a grade. Let's hear it, Sean.
Didn't think they were awesome. I mentioned Eck kind of getting into official on a pretty clearly missed DPI call. So I didn't think they were amazing. But yeah.
Tom's telling me that you want Boise to lose tonight because with an SDSU win, you would control your own destiny.
Yeah, because
it'd be a multiple tie losses, though, right?
You're throwing it at me. My brain is so bad with this. I'm thinking about it right now. So, more grammar vision. So, yeah, Tom, I think you're right. So, my brain.
We'll love to see UNM play some full court defense once in a while. Yeah, they may. Because they get dropped back into the zone and a little matchup. I think they like confusing teams in that zone, but they love getting teams deep in the shot clock. Usually when you press, while it's to speed up the offense, that instinctively tells you that, they're trying to speed up the offense to want them to go faster. Speeding up the offense is a good thing in this defense. They're not trying to get them to go quicker. They're just trying to have to make decisions quicker because that then leads to the confusion that leads to a lot of this team's turnovers. Yeah, so some press might be good. I've not seen them even practice that, but I will also tell you I haven't seen them practice in a month, so we've not been allowed to practice. Can you name worst seats in the stadium ever, though? This is as far up as UNLV and Wyoming. UNLV and Wyoming are both there. Wyoming at least has a press area, though. So Wyoming, while this far up, has a dedicated press area with tables and actual seats and a printer and stuff like that. They give you stats with all that. UNLV is much like exactly like this. In fact, in the Thomas and Mack, where they put a couple folding tables out and just have you kind of sit in a makeshift area with fans just sitting all around you. It is what it is. Sean, and I don't think that one fumble call was correct. The official was not in a position to see it. He was down. So there you go.
Steve, I don't know what fumble you're talking about. Unless I know the fumble, I don't know if I can really comment in full confidence.
I'm going to go ahead and agree. Yeah, I didn't see any of the game. So, all right, there we go, Sean. We're caught up on the questions here. Why don't you wrap up whatever thoughts you want to wrap up on? Oh, wait, hold on. We got some questions at the top. Remember those timestamp things?
Yeah.
We got Joey, Brandon Saunders, who are showing up as 2:47 a.m. comments. Wow. Brandon is saying Lobo's going to beat down them Aggies. We got Lobo's had a pretty good attendance, I must say. That was great to see. We got Joey T in with the what up, Joey with the Geoff. And one was on the 10. Oh, one of the turnovers was on the.
Yeah, one of the turnovers on the 10. Yes, I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember which one.
I blame the defense. If you can't protect 10 yards, I kid. That's not on the defense. If you give it up at the 10, so. All right, why don't you wrap this up for the football side of things, and then I'll wrap things up on the basketball side of things, Sean.
Not a ton to wrap up that we haven't already covered. Defense was great today. Offense has some stuff to work through, particularly ball security in the coming week. I detailed one of the takes. If UNM wants to reach its loftiest goals of making a Mountain West championship and doing that, they're going to need a better offensive performance. But I don't think you can complain at all on the defense whatsoever. I mean, Austin Brawley maybe should have made a tackle on a long touchdown, but I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot to really pick holes in. So overall, UNM is 7-3. Haven't had there in a long time. 4 straight wins. And I think there's a lot to be very optimistic about. But they do got to right the ship offensively in this coming week against an Air Force team that you will need to score against to stop. Good step, score against to win.
All right. On the hitting the microphone on front, real quick update. Santa Clara 71, Nevada 53 with 11 to play. The under 12 timeout, it looks like. So, yeah, that's a 20-point game right now in Santa Clara. And we got St. Louis up on Grand Canyon 19-15 early in that game. But for basketball, I'll say this. This game means an awful lot to both programs. It means a lot more to New Mexico State because they at least have some players back and Jason Hooten's back. And Jason Hooten gets a bonus if they win this game, $5,000. So the Aggies in New Mexico State always care a little bit more about this game and love sticking it to the guys up north. And it's in front of their home crowd. So it means more to them. They just haven't played a D1 team yet, and that really it bothers me that they haven't. It's hard to know what they are and how prepared they are when they haven't yet had that. You know, they've broken a sweat a few times and all that kind of stuff, and didn't look great doing so, by the way. But they've broken a sweat a few times, but didn't do it against D1 teams. I wish they would have before this game, but they made it a point to schedule this game now when football would not have been an issue and when the students would be in town. They have played this game before here in Las Cruces in December when the students had already left or when finals were happening and it was just an issue. They made it a point for this game to make sure the students could be here. In doing so, and in the challenges to get a D1 opponent on the schedule this year in non-conference play, it is what it is. They played Adams State and New Mexico Highlands, and that is it so far. So I don't know how prepared New Mexico State will be tonight for this game. There's only so much preparedness even a great coach can do and getting you ready for a game without having actually run through a few D1 opponents. That is what the good thing about being able to scrimmage D1 teams is now. I do think New Mexico State had a private scrimmage. I can't remember who, and it might have been a D1, but they have not played a D1 team in front of a crowd. This will be game 6 in front of versus a D1 team for New Mexico, and I think that gives them an edge. However, stylistically, I do know what Jason Hooten wants his team to do is a stylistic challenge to what these Lobos do. So they'll get up in them, and if they're calling it New Mexico State's way with the tight physical game, and New Mexico State's able to do that, it's going to be hard for this UNM team to shoot, which they haven't done well so far anyway. If they call a lot of fouls when New Mexico State gets physical like that, then New Mexico should roll. I think if this is a ticky-tack, call a lot of fouls kind of game, I think it benefits UNM because it is New Mexico State that is proven to want to be more physical. And if they're calling a lot of fouls, the more physical team usually does not benefit from that. So there you go. What's up with Portnoy? I will answer this one. Portnoy is on TV. He's doing altitude. Anytime one of these football or basketball games gets picked up by altitude, he is part of the agreement for that is that Portnoy will take the lead broadcast crew that New Mexico has and do the television game. JJ Buck will take over the radio call, or JJ Buck, Jeff Symbieta, one of those two will take over the football or basketball radio call. Tonight it was JJ Buck, or today it was JJ Buck at the football game, and here in Las Cruces it is Jeff Symbieta calling the game with Hunter Green for the radio call for the Lobos. So there you go. Sean, you good?
I am good, Grammer. Thank you as always. Thank you everybody who tuned in. We will have more content from today's football game coming out shortly. Some artists and stuff out, and Grammer, I'm sure you're going to have a whole lot from this one tonight.
ABQJournal.com. Check out all Sean's stuff. Some stuff's already up. More stuff will be up. I'll have some stuff up later, and emptying the notebook first thing in the morning. Usually post by about 7 a.m. if I set it, depending on how I sleep and all that good stuff. So have a lot of content coming your way, a lot of good stuff. Plus, James Yotis with all kinds of Lobo high school football, high school state playoff stuff. He had a game last night here in Las Cruces. He had a game this afternoon. He is coming to this game tonight. There will be a Yotis sighting. We have a photographer here as well. That was here. We'll cover the football game today here. We'll cover this basketball game tonight. And then tomorrow, noon, here in Las Cruces, UNM Lobo women versus NMSU women, and Ken Sickinger will be here. It is the Las Cruces takeover this weekend. So congratulations to the Lobo football team. 7 games. They've clinched a winning record this year. And we will now see what UNM Lobo basketball and NMSU Aggie basketball will do. Thank you guys for joining us.
I don't know if we, one last thing, I don't know if we mentioned it, but the 13-game losing streak, the occasionally inexplicable 13-game losing streak to Colorado State is now over for UNM. Congrats to the fans.
It is over. It is a thing of the past. And who knows when they play again. So the winning streak of 1 will be in UNM's favor until who knows when. All right, guys. See you later. Thanks, guys.